my name is Karis Heilbronn, and I'm going to be going over my top 10 list of tips and advice that I gained from the business communication course. For number 10, I chose efficiently running online meetings. For the work that I do right now, I perform virtual consultations via Microsoft Teams, and I also do a bunch of other calls on Microsoft Teams. One thing that I was never aware of was being able to neutralize your background by blurring it or by picking any type of setting to be in. Typically, I would just have some filing cabinets or a coat rack or something in the back, so it never really occurred to me that I could spice it up. So ever since learning that, I've been using it nonstop. For number 9, I chose writing clear and professional messages. For work, I write a lot of emails that have to do with promotional information, financial information, and even just coordinating with other coworkers maybe who don't work in the office with me. So through reading the chapter, I kind of learned I probably use a lot of buzzwords and cliches such as circle back, touch base, things like that, and definitely redundancies are present in a lot of my emails. So since then, I've taken the time to read through, make sure that I'm not repeating myself, and also that I'm not overusing cliched or outdated terms. For number 8, I chose using digital communication tools professionally. At work, the collaborative platform that we use is Microsoft Teams, which is how I communicate not only with people inside the office that I work at, but with people in other offices across the states. So one thing I've stopped doing since learning how it kind of looks maybe immature and like you're not taking it seriously is using emojis and also GIFs, which I know is kind of I use them a lot at work just to make light of situations, give it a fun air, but I didn't realize it looked kind of unprofessional. So since then I've stopped using those unless maybe it's in more of a text message, because I know text messages are not as serious. And I also added a headshot and also a title and headline to my Microsoft Teams account, so that way whenever people select my profile, it doesn't look like an anonymous user of any sort, it looks like an actual person. For number 7, I chose applying persuasive communication techniques. This fall, my job has allowed me the opportunity to help recruit and gather volunteers for the Duluth Fall Festival. Our company has rented a booth this year, and we're really trying to get people to volunteer, a couple people to work it. So we're using the reciprocation persuasive technique by allowing anyone who volunteers to get a full day of overtime if they choose to volunteer. I probably wouldn't have been able to identify that term before, but putting a title to it allows for my brain to realize the techniques in play. For number 6, I chose delivering professional presentations. This fall, again, we're going to be doing a quarterly fireside chat with my company. So I get the opportunity to help present a slideshow of new employee outreach programs that we're going to be implementing. I'll be making my own script, but the slides will be pre-designed. So I'll get the opportunity to deliver, hopefully, a really good presentation thanks to what I've learned. For number 5, I chose demonstrate active listening. I do monthly regional calls with other employees in our Atlanta market, and on these calls, maybe sometimes I'm only listening, I'm not talking. Sometimes, of course, you can zone out or forget what you're doing. Maybe you're thinking about what you're gonna have for dinner that night. But with the active listening techniques that I've learned, even if, maybe you're not fully listening, it really matters to be able to smile, nod, have the body language, the nonverbal cues that tell people you're listening, so I'll be sure to implement those. For number 4, I chose professional job search communication. My resume is in dire need of an update, so as soon as I'm looking to apply for a new position, I'll be able to use the skills that I've learned to tailor that resume and also cover letter, anything else that I use to apply to hit my selling points, sell myself to the employer, meet the employer's needs, and I also know how to structure these documents thanks to what I've learned. For number 3, I chose establishing credibility and trust. I feel like the one component of establishing credibility that I lack in sometimes is the caring component, especially in the workplace. Not because I don't care, but more so because I'm introverted. I'm not typically asking about people's plans outside of work, the names of their family members, things like that. So I made a conscious effort recently after learning how that can factor into your credibility and how you're perceived by others. I asked all my colleagues what their 4th of July plans are coming up, and I've been making sure to wish them a safe ride home, safe drive home, and then also a happy, evening, have a good weekend, whatever. For number 2, I chose communicating effectively in teams. We do daily huddles, and I work among 8 other team members, not including myself. So these huddles can, of course, kind of veer off track sometimes, maybe get on the topics of non-work related topics, and maybe even showing people videos on your phone, things like that. So I've been trying to be more diligent with having an agenda for these huddles, at least a personal agenda, since I'm not in like a leadership role. And then also, I kind of identified my colleagues by their MVS, their motivational value systems, and I'm able to kind of say, okay, I know what this person is a green, this person's a blue, this person's a red, and I know what I can say to appeal to them, kind of things. And for number 1, what I think is the most important skill that I've been able to learn from the entirety of this course is using emotional intelligence in communication. I recently had a call with one of my supervisors who actually works in HR about a toxic work environment at one of our centers that I occasionally work at. So I think during that situation, I was able to kind of rein my emotions back in, take a step back, evaluate the decisions I was making. Are they emotional based? Am I susceptible to emotional hijacking right now? Those kinds of questions. And based on objectively seeing the situation, I can make a much more productive, encoding for them to decode, and then also just have a more productive conversation overall. I've been really grateful for everything I've learned from this course, and I hope that I continue to grow these skills as I continue to use them in the workplace.